Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this new session that will be dedicated to learning a new recipe, the recipe for success in the local streaming world. So we have the pleasure to have with us two chefs in this specific area, Ivan Verbeselt, VP Product Management from MEDIAGENIX, and Thomas Crosson, Content Director at SALTO. We have 30 minutes to understand the key ingredients that are needed to design a successful and complex streaming offer, to deliver all of its elements efficiently to the end user, and to make sure to provide the best possible experience given the existing constraints. So in the course of the discussion, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to type them in the chat box, and we'll pass them to our speakers here to have their insights. So let's start with just a few words of introduction for those in the audience who might not be too familiar with the services that are deployed by MEDIAGENIX, our host for this panel, and by SALTO. Ivan, can you tell us more about MEDIAGENIX and how you work with content providers to optimize their operation?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So at MEDIAGENIX, we enjoy to be a partner to over 100 media groups worldwide. And they're actually very interestingly all along the content value chain, all the way up from production to aggregation to distribution on many different channels, whether that's online, whether it's telco, or it's cable. So it's a very interesting environment to work in. And our flagship product, which is called What's On, is in actual fact a business management suite for media and entertainment companies. So what we do is orchestrate the digital content supply chain around one single source of truth within the entire media operation. So that ranges from dealing with the end-to-end content and rights workflows in a way that they can be scheduled multi-platform across all different outlets, and ultimately drives audience engagement. So our mission in life there is to optimize the return on investment for content by balancing the audience engagement, like increasing audience engagement, but also keeping that in check with the operational costs and the content OpEx that we help our customers manage.
Mm-hmm. Thomas, could you also give us more details about, on SALTO and your role, the activities that you oversee?
First of all, I'm really pleased to be part of this panel, but for the SALTO is the subsidiary of the three main free-to-air broadcaster in France, TF1, France Télévisions, and M6. It's a joint venture that we've put up for almost 9 months now, and we've started broadcasting at the end of October 2020. And the idea was to mix the activities of the television and streaming in one place, and to offer all the live replays and SVOD services in a one-stop shop, and that's what we are trying to deal with.
Okay, so let's dive in into the core of the challenge for local and recently launched service like SALTO. So as it was put in the abstract, how do local streamers respond when the giants turn up the heat? So in other words, why did it make sense to launch another SVOD service for the French market that already counts a lot? And how is SALTO different?
Probably the main difference is that we are mixing line of businesses which are not present on the various SVOD platforms. They are only dealing with the SVOD rights and SVOD offers, and we are dealing with various services which are television, live television, but also replays offer BVOD or AVOD and even free VOD. But we are also distributing pay TV services such as the channels that are edited by TF1 and M6, Paris Première, LCI, and stuff like that. And we are also distributing SVOD offers that are edited also by TF1 and M6, which are Tefu Max and Gulli Max, and those two offers are young and animation SVOD offers that are mixed within SALTO. And on the top of it, we offer an SVOD services that we edited ourselves, And at the end, it's something like 15,000 hours of programs made available to the French audience. And the other difference is that we thought that we could launch a local offer, trying to deal with the will and the French audience, and this is why we are offering a large amount of French TV series, which are really popular in France. But also, at the end, we would like also to be part of their daily routine, and this is why we had a lot of previews of the TVs. So at the end, you can find on Salto something quite different from what you find on the other SVOD platforms, which is a part of daily programming. Every day you've got new shows. Every day you can watch the show in advance of the television, but also all the full TV series, like a box set of the previous French TV shows.
Mm-hmm. So with this important catalog designed for the French market, would you say that you are competing with the international platforms like Disney, Netflix, for instance?
I'm not sure that we are competing with them, because they are targeting something like 200 countries over the world, and they've got incredible money. So it's quite different. What we know is that we know how to entertain the French market and the French audience, and we know how to put up an offer that speak to every French in France, which is quite different, in fact, from what are doing all these international platforms. And I think we can complement all these platforms.
Mm-hmm. And I turn to you, Ivan, from your point of view, working with the content providers, do you think that this model, a cooperation between broadcasters that were previously competitors, is this a model that could be efficient for broadcasters to maintain their market share of audiences and market share of revenues? Could we see this model developed further in other countries or across countries?
Sure. I think it's a natural addition to what is already a rapidly expanding digital presence of broadcasters. Let's not forget this BVOD. Tom, I mentioned this, which broadcast-driven VOD. So they have that presence that is rapidly expanding with their own apps. That was there in any case. Now there is room between the big global five, like Netflix, Disney+, Prime, HBO Max, Paramount+. There's room between that and then the long tail of like the 700 SVOD providers on a worldwide basis. I think in Europe alone, it's like 450. That's long tail. In between there's room for a relevant local offer. And so it's not by accident that you see this being driven by many broadcasters right now, because there is room also in the media and entertainment expenditure of the average household for such initiatives. And this is not niche. So it is, as Thomas really pointed it out very nicely, it is a fine-tuned cultural and thematic localization. And there's where the métier of the local content operator is coming to fruition, of course. There's no global consumer. The consumer is always in his or her market with a certain local cultural context. And that, of course, local media players can very finely tune into. So in those local markets, it is de facto short tail up there with the big five. And it's not by accident. It is the main broadcaster alliances that are leading this on a pan-European basis. But in each country, very specific, like Salto in France, Join Plus in Germany, Streams in Belgium, BritBox in the UK, Videoland, Viaplay, TV2 Play, Root2, you can go on forever. So in every country, you see this happening. So it's not by accident that this happens. There's really a market for it, and it's, I think, very smart to do. And it's, of course, our pleasure to contribute to quite some of them alongside some of the larger international groups like Disney. So very interesting space to be in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, alliances are an option, but of course we've been witnessing another trend increasing in the media space with mergers of companies, and of course Warner and Discovery, but also because we are talking about Salto, TF1 and M6, particularly relevant for us today. So these strategies create tremendous companies with huge catalogs of content. And we reached the question, is reaching a critical size the key ingredient to succeed in the streaming world? Thomas, what do you think?
I think that you've got a level to maintain and a certain level of catalogs that you should maintain to be relevant in the market. But on the other hand, it's probably not really interesting to have hours of foreign content available for local platform. At the moment, what the people are looking after when they are coming to Celto is mainly the French-speaking programming, whether it's dramas or TV shows or real TV and stuff like that, which is quite different from what they are looking after when they come to a streaming, an international streaming platform. So you can't put large amounts of content because it's hours and hours of content. It has to make sense to the specific audience that you're targeting, I think.
Mm-hmm. And if we look more in details into the content and the choices that Salto made in its content offer, so the content is aggregated, is very diverse, coming from 3 different actors and also third parties. So in this context, how do you maintain a coherent content strategy for the platform?
We're trying to, and we're trying to imagine it because it's brand new. In fact, all the things is that we've got 3 shareholders that are targeting really specific audience for their own TVs, and we are trying to mix it in the largest possible offer available to the French audience. And the thing is that we were trying to have a mix and an equilibrium between all the content that we are offering. We took the party to be really some kind of we are trying to free the subscribers from the TV schedules that are now probably not so relevant to the TV French audience because of the streamings offers. All the streamings was a big bang in the TV in the classical TV set. So we had to change things, and this is why we offer also the previews of the TV shows, and all the TV shows, which are dramas, real TV shows, and games, even games, and it's quite really. In fact, at the end, it's quite different from what the big streamings international offers are.
Yeah, because it's also live, on demand, catch-up content.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So even how has MEDIAGENIX supported the deployment of this complex offer with all these different types of content?
Yeah, so as Thomas pointed out, there's no killer content. When we talk content, everyone thinks, oh, there's The Mandalorian, there's Game of Thrones, whatever. I'm not saying they're not important, but they're not making a comprehensive content offer. So it's all about packaging and packaging strategies, and smart packaging and targeting is going to be the trick going forward. And this is partly an art and a science. The art we leave with the content curator, of course, but the science aspect of it is very important, and it's increasingly difficult to do this job, because there's an explosion of content you have to choose from, and there's an increasingly fragmented audience. Those you need to somehow match. The life cycle of content is undergoing significant change, as Thomas pointed out. And there, of course, the streaming world has greatly changed that. Consumer behavior has changed. Well, if anything changed in 2020, it was consumer behavior. So we need to get very dynamic in adapting to that. And coming back to what I said earlier, to us, this is all fundamentally a supply chain challenge. A content supply chain challenge is how to put the right content in front of the right audience with the right timing through the right channels. As trivial as it may seem, it is not trivial. So this is what we contribute with the platform to operators like Salto.
Mm-hmm. So this is one of the most important challenge that local platform has to face when launching its service. Because when we think about the competition with the international streaming service, besides content, another crucial aspect that also requires high financial investments concerns the efforts to develop an advanced, flexible offer that is also user-friendly. Mm-hmm. So for Salto, what were the main technical challenges that the company had to face in the implementation of the SVOD platform?
Probably the main thing was to imagine the platform itself. It has been really challenging, because we are subsidiary of the three main groups, but we've got also really big constraints with the competition authorities. So we can't work with them. We had to develop our own solution by ourselves. So we've choose the technical platform from Bedrock, which is a subsidiary from M6, but we were not allowed to work with the M6 team or TF1 or France Télévisions tech teams to put it up. And that was exactly the same when we've decided to choose Watson as rights management and traffic system for Salto. It happens that MEDIAGENIX and Watson have been the solution chosen by TF1, M6, and France Télévisions, but we did our own choice and our own development, and we're not supposed to talk with them. So it has been a great challenge to find the right solution. And with a really small company, we're just at the moment we are 50 people working on it. So the days are quite long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with content that has different rights periods and very different to broadcast.
Absolutely, mm-hmm. And coming from different sources. Yeah. And that's been also a challenge.
And Ivan, from your experience with SVOD and OTT services, and especially for small ones, what is usually the most important difficult technical issue to overcome?
Yeah, so let's not forget, as we said earlier, that you're de facto with such a local streaming package, you're playing in the tier 1 league, yeah? In the tier 1 league of the big international streamers, because they are in your market as well. So you can't bring a knife to a gunfight, and you need to hit the ground running with an entirely new content operation. That's what Thomas is pointing out. So for us, it's quite satisfying to see that the long-standing efforts that we've put in a content-centric supply chain management is now also coming to fruition in the OTT space, where the supply chain challenge is even more stringent because there's even more explosion versus fragmentation to be managed. And what we like to offer to local initiatives like Salto in France or streams in Belgium is the experience, know-how, and also the lessons learned and the technical depth that stems from our contributions to some of the large tier 1 international streamers like Disney. So that's what we can bring to the table, what we've learned in a global market, to then bring that to a local streaming operation so they can indeed hit the ground running and don't bring a knife to a gunfight.
And yeah, if we continue on our culinary metaphor, now that we have all the ingredients, how to whip up the content catalog, serve it on a plate to the customers. So even how do you help you are saying putting the right content in front of the right audience, but do you provide monitoring and smart analytics and content consumption?
Yeah, so it's increasingly a data-driven game, because if it's right content, right audience, right time, right channels, you can do that like that, but typically you need data to do that. Now, I think all technology providers should also be modest and recognize that it is indeed an art and a science. And so the content strategy and the tactics of what content you put in front of your audience, that remains critically dependent on the smarts of the media enterprise and content experts like Thomas, who understand their local market. What we can bring to the table is the science part and facilitate and streamline the content workflow and the decision process, so that they can focus on their task, which is to put the right content in front of the right audience. What we can bring to the table is smart curation, targeting of the audience, AI-driven scheduling going forward, like using AI technology to establish what is the content DNA and do recommendations for what could work even better in front of a certain audience at a certain time, content promotion tools. And then at the cost side of things, because return on investment, there's two components. There's need to engage your audience, but also contain your costs. There's, of course, an increasing evolution towards touchless operations, like automate what can be automated, but then also optimize the content OpEx. And let's not forget that the content return on investment is going to be critically dependent on establishing a single source of truth through the entire media operation. Having intelligence about content is one thing, but you have to make it actionable. There's always the so what. You can make dashboards till we're blue in the face, but then it's how do you make content intelligence actionable? And that's where we will increasingly contribute to this space.
And Thomas, can you also give us more details about the discovery, search, and navigation tools that are implemented on the Celto platform?
The first thing I'd like to go back on what Ivan says a few minutes ago. It's really important to have the right tools made available for the schedulers, because you are manipulating thousands of episodes and items to be available on the platform, and we needed something which was also robust and smart at the same time, because when we did publish in one day 7,000 episodes of a shortcom, which is Scène de Ménage, and it's 11 seasons made available to the public at the same time. If you don't have anything which is so robust and smart enough to be manipulated by only one people, it doesn't work at all. And at the end, you need to have all the data and information coming back from the subscribers and the viewers to know if it's interesting and how you can manage with that kind of content. We've got loads of things, and so we needed a tool and a specific solution that was really smart, robust, and easy to understand for a small group of users also. That was something which was really important for us to choose from MEDIAGENIX.
And are analytics also used to tailor the content strategy, the acquisitions?
Yes, at the end, yeah, and we are dealing with a lot of data every day, which is this is absolutely tremendous. The numbers of data that you can take back from your subscribers. We need time to do the analysis and to understand how the audience reacts to a new show, a new launch, the date of launch, the hours from it, from its launch, and stuff like that. And so at the end, we need that smart solution, which is what's on to be more accurate in the next publishing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we are getting close to the end. So another key aspect, and which can be an important constraint, and you touched on it earlier, Thomas, can be the regulatory challenge with one investor being a public broadcaster. Can you give us more details on the specific regulatory challenges that you face in terms of quota, broadcast windows, rights?
Well, usually in France, you're in the land of quotas. So, so this is not specific to Celto, but as Celto is the subsidiary of the three main free-to-air channels in France and group of channels in France, the competition authorities imagine brand new quotas, which are our constraint for the next few years. So we needed also something and a solution which was also robust and smart enough to deal with those kind of quotas, which are really, really bizarre. We've got something like we can buy exclusive rights from our motherships companies, but only through a small part of the long offers. So we need to do quotas and calculations almost every day, and we get those figures and numbers to the competition authority every 4 months. The last thing that we led them was some an Excel of probably 100,000 lines. and go with that and try to understand what we are doing. So it's really, really, really time consuming. Mm-hmm. It's not that simple for us, but it's life. And so we found within MEDIAGENIX the right answer to bring those figures and numbers that we are supposed to give to the competition authorities.
Okay, so we are reaching the end of our session, and I'd like just to have your opinion on the market evolution that we can expect for the coming years. Even from your opinion, what are the major shifts that you foresee in the next years in the streaming space?
Well, you've mentioned consolidation. It's a trend that is hard to ignore. Like even the media groups behind Salto have meanwhile somehow consolidated. You see it all over the place. And of course, companies are looking for maximum content gunpowder. But that's not the only trend. And that's going to be there. You'll see a size factor for sure. But let's not misread the size advantage either. There's also a great opportunity for targeting an audience. And actually, so along with the size factor of consolidation, there's many more niche offers going to be. And very specifically, they're not niche, is these local SVOD offers or AVOD offers are going to be increasingly important because they match the local audience. There's no such thing as a global consumer. The consumer is always living in his or her market. So that's what I would see as a big trend going forward.
And Thomas, you will have the last word. What can we expect in France?
I would absolutely agree with what Ivan's just said, is that there's a way to find an SVOD offers and a streaming offer targeting a local audience and a local market, I think. And hopefully maybe we will be the one in France. It's on a good way, I think.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you everyone for joining us for this remarkable session celebrating cooperation between competitors. If you have further questions to our two panelists, don't hesitate to contact them or us in the platform. And we will now have a small break before the next panel that will address the specific challenges in the Turkish market. Thanks again, Ivan, Thomas. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.